what's going on, you guys? So I've been meaning to do a video on this for a little while now. You would hear me say these things and breakdowns of fights. All right, but I wanted to really address it in one video, okay? Because I think it's becoming a problem. I think today it's very, very hard to find great boxing talk where guys are just generally just breaking down the skill set of two fighters, before leading up to a fight and even after the fight is over. People like to find excuses on why the fighter that they thought was going to win lost the fight. And weight and size has played a major role, especially because we're in the era where weight and the catch weight is so it's so common now to get a catch weight in every fight, especially major fights. Okay, fights that you have championship fights. You got fights with huge names and stuff like that, and weight always plays a key role now because of the catch weights. But I don't think it is as important as a lot of boxing fans will try to make it seem. Even the media, when it comes to the media will do interviews and they're like, all right, well, how do you, what do you feel about your opponent's weight being this? And, how do you feel about the size advantage? And it's like they won't even ask them questions about the skill set of the fighter. This is the media I'm talking about now. Of course, you have the YouTube uploaders that rarely will actually break down a fight. They'll just go straight to the resume. And speaking on the resume is very important. I made a video recently where I was talking about Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz and Anthony Joshua, where I was talking about the resume, but I was basically challenging an argument uh, based off the politics. I wasn't actually speaking on the actual skill set and the outcome of the actual fight. I was talking more about the WBC and the politics leading up to the fight. And this is where I did bring resumes in. But as far as the fight itself, breaking down the fight, I like to watch the fights themselves. It's very time consuming. I know we don't all have time to do that. But today, most breakdowns that I hear, they're all surrounding the weight, the size of a fighter. This guy is bigger than that guy. And I don't know how everyone can make that argument and that be their only argument when we see guys historically and recently just go up several divisions and conquer that division, win titles in that division. I don't understand. I mean, if you look at the history of boxing, if you're not if you don't include the heavyweights, obviously, right? And then you look at the guys that's going up from 135 to 147 to 160 to 175, guys that won multiple titles in those divisions, okay? Guys moving up to fight other pound for pound fighters, okay? And dominating. If you look historically, how can you sit here and make breakdowns of fights when two of the fighters are in the same division? I just don't get it. I've heard people talking about Spence and Brook, and all they're doing is talking about the size advantage of Kell Brook or Errol Spence. Like, dude, they fight in the same division. I don't know how people continuously do it. Andre Ward and Kovalev, same thing with them. I've heard people say, oh, well, Kovalev was winning because he has a size advantage. He's naturally the bigger guy. What does that have to do with anything? These guys roughly are around the same size, maybe a few pounds off. Okay? Why are people stressing size so much when we watch guys like Manny Pacquiao come up from, barely weighing 100 pounds, over 100 pounds, and going up and dominated welterweight? We got guys like Floyd Mayweather. We had guys like, Roy Jones. Look at what Roy Jones did. Even guys from the past like Sugar Ray Robinson and Roberto Duran. And I mean, we could go on and guys that moved up so many weight divisions and dominated, you know, or was just successful. Maybe they didn't dominate, but they were very successful moving up in weight, fighting bigger guys and beating them and winning because of the skill set that they had and the advantages they had that had nothing to do with weight. Now, yes, I understand that sometimes a fighter can get weight drained. You know, sometimes they can go into a fight and, like for example, when Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people were upset that Floyd had a catch weight against Canelo. You know, Canelo fought at 152. You know, and a lot of people would say, you know, and I wish Floyd really didn't ask for the catch weight because I don't think he needed it. But a lot of us fans, and it was one of the first prediction videos I did. This is when around the time where I started my channel. A lot of us thought that Canelo was going to use his weight and size advantage against Floyd. And that's not what happened. Canelo fought the same way he would always fight. All right, Canelo is a boxer. He's a counter puncher. He's not a pressure fighter. You know, he's not like Antonio Margarito. You know, he went in there and fought Floyd and tried to outbox Floyd Mayweather, and that's why he lost. It had nothing to do with the weight. You know, it had nothing to do with his size. Floyd has fought guys that came in the night of the fight weighing 15, 20 pounds more than he did. But he outboxed them anyway. You know, because that's what boxing is about. You know, you can be a little bigger than me, but I can still outbox you. And I feel like as fans, we lost that. All we do is talk about the weight. And it's not just us, but it's the media. You know, it's not just us and YouTube uploaders and the people that comment on a video. It's the media as well. And it's also the fighters and the promoters. You know, I remember when Chavez Jr. had first lost to Fonfara. And I don't know if it was his post-fight interview or one of the press conference, maybe somewhere shortly after the fight, he was saying, you know, I lost because, you know, I wish we fought at a few pounds lower or something. He was blaming it on the catch weight, you know, or he wished he would have fought at a catch weight. And I'm like, dude, you was always big at 160, all right? You didn't want to make the weight no more. You decided to go up in weight and fight this guy, okay? And you were the A side of it as well. You know, so how can you sit here and make it seem like this is all because of the weight, you know? And I'm not trying to dismiss a fighter being drained, okay? Weight drained for a fight. But yo, the better boxer is always going to win. We should at least place that in front of the weight. We should be talking about the skill set of the fighters, not just the weight, the size advantage. That's all it's become, and it's become a lot of other things. You know, I was speaking on this in the video I just uploaded with Errol Spence and Kell Brook. You know, everyone is talking about how they feel socially, how they feel about the weight and size and stuff. Kell Brook, he's gonna be drained. He fought one time at 160. He's coming right back down to 147. And everybody's talking about him not making weight, being weight drained and stuff like that. Like, dude, how big do you think Kell Brook is? Because at 154, he's not big. Neither is Errol Spence. Neither one of those guys at 154 are big. You know, they are bigger fighters. Guys like the Charlo twins, the Demetrius Andre. You know, those guys are bigger guys. All right, where they couldn't even start at 147. You know what I'm saying? We've seen so many fighters move up in weight and outbox. You know, I remember when Pacquiao fought Miguel Cotto. I thought Cotto was going to win because I thought Cotto was just too skilled and too big. You know, De La Hoya, I didn't really, you know, it was a big, huge win for Pacquiao. I know a lot of people thought De La Hoya was going to win because of his size. But De La Hoya didn't fight at 147 for years. He looked weight drained. He looked unhealthy, you know. And we saw it in the fight. But when he fought Miguel Cotto, like, oh no, you're fighting a seasoned guy at 147, a guy that has skills, a guy that is naturally built bigger. And what did we see? Pacquiao outbox him, destroy him. okay, and stop him. We've seen that, and we've seen it countless other times. Okay, we've seen it so many times. So how can we sit here and blame and just use weight as the main, like the main argument of breaking down a fight or making excuses on why a fighter lost a fight when we see so many guys get outboxed over and over again? Why are we bringing up weight? Wait. This guy, like, where did that begin? I don't know where that began. I'm going to assume it's because of all the catch weights that we're seeing. You know, guys that fight in the same division, like Adrian Broner against Sean Porter. Broner, you're fighting at 147. You can't even make 140. Yet you're forcing Sean Porter to move down in a weight that you can't even make yourself. Just to have every fighter just seems to want to squeeze every little advantage that they can have over another fighter, you know. And weight is being used, catch weights is being used in order to do this. All right, but you gotta remember, at the end of the day, it's up to us to watch a fight, especially us uploaders. All right, and media as well. See, the thing with the media is a lot of them are great, and I appreciate what they do, because if it's not for the media, we wouldn't have much to do videos on, because they deliver us the news and we speak on it, we address it, right? So shout out to the media. But for the media and the uploaders like myself, it's up to us to watch these fights when we speak on the fight itself, all right, and break down the fight itself, a fight that's coming up. It's up to us to watch these fighters, go back, watch their old fights, compare their old fights to their more recent fights, compare opponents and how they did with their opponent's common opponent. You know, it's up to us to look at the skill set itself and say, all right, this is how I see it going, because I've been watching this guy from the amateurs, from his early professional fights, from this weight to that weight. This guy, you know, this top fighter against this bum. It's very time consuming, you know. It is very time consuming, and this is why I don't rush and do videos, because it takes time for you to break down a fight thoroughly. You know, it's easy for anyone. I can always just make a video to say, well, this guy is moving up in weight, and I think this is going to be tough for him because this guy has a weight advantage and a size advantage. No, I can't say that, because we see guys that are skilled. Usually the winner is the most skilled fighter. You know, Amir Khan against Canelo recently. You know, a lot of people were saying Khan is more skilled than Canelo, so he might outbox Canelo. And I'm saying, well, I think Canelo is going to knock him out, you know, in 6 rounds, because I think Canelo is going to adjust and he's going to get used to Khan's speed, okay, which is exactly what happened, just like Danny Garcia did, all right? And they're going to time him and he's going to get knocked out, you know, because that's what that's Khan. Khan is an amazing fighter, right? He's very explosive, he's very fast, great combinations, you know, he's good. But the thing is, he's limited. A lot of these fighters get used to what he's doing in the ring. I mean, the elite fighters. And he gets timed and he goes to sleep. And that's exactly what happened. Canelo didn't use his weight and his size to beat him. He didn't use that. He didn't walk him down and outpressure him like Triple G did with Kell Brook. No, Canelo timed him, countered him, all right, and knocked him out with one shot, because he is the better boxer. He is the better boxer. Because if he wasn't, that fight wouldn't have ended that way. We got to stop just bringing size into the equation and making it the only factor in these fights, where that's all we're speaking on. I can give you a million examples, but it's hard to find real good boxing content out there. I don't subscribe to nearly as many people as I did last year. You know, I subscribed to a lot of channels because a lot of guys weren't really giving me any thorough breakdowns. They was just talking about weight. They was talking about, you know, all the politics all the time, and they were talking about other things unrelated to boxing. And I'm like, where's the content out there? It's not really out there like that, because the media, the uploaders, the fans, the fighters, the promoters, All they're doing is talking about the politics, the weight of the fighters, the size of the fighter, being weight trained and stuff, moving up and down, catch weights, all that stuff. And it's like, damn, we can't even give fighters credit anymore for being skillful because we're making all the advantages a fighter has him being the A side or being having more weight and having it's getting ridiculous, you know. So anyway, I don't want to go too long into it. Let me know what you guys feel about this because I know it's a common argument in boxing today when we're discussing, we're trying to make predictions and we're having our arguments on what I think bringing up resumes and stuff, all that stuff is very important. Okay, you have to bring that up. But we can't forget that the skill set of the fighter, the skills, should be the most important factor in boxing. The most important factor. Okay, when trying to break down and predict where a fight is going to go. A lot of fans are just not doing that. A lot of fans is just going straight to weight, size, their last fight, and that's pretty much it, and the politics. All right? So let me know what you guys think on that. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel.